Alrighty, so here on Best Buy, let's see here. So full HD laptop, 512 gig SSD, trash. If you want my opinion of it, not that the actual product is trash. 512 gig SSD is trash. So you're gonna have to upgrade that guy because 512 gigabyte gives you nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can't do anything with it. We're talking about gamers here. That's one game, if that, and that one game is Cuphead. So you're not doing much with that. So even if you did get that, bear in mind you're gonna have to upgrade that NVMe almost the same day. So literally, if you're gonna come out of the store with this, come out of the store with an SSD. Alrighty, and college games or football games for $29.99, Madden 2025. That's pretty good. You're gonna get that price point. We have seen this before. So if we find, some of these other games, we'll go ahead and take a look at it. But let's see what else we got here. JBL soundbar, it's okay, but the JBL is kind of like your decent price soundbar anyway. I typically use Sonos when it comes to soundbars, but this doesn't really help us, and we're kind of going a little bit off track talking about JBL because they don't really make it for gamers, right? If we're talking about gamers, the LG Ultra Gear 45-inch OLED curve, 240 hertz, NVIDIA G-Sync. This is a door buster, but it's not busting any doors. Nobody's going for this. It's way too expensive. And not only is it way too expensive, let me see what it is here. Is it a good monitor? Yes, but anybody going to buy something like this that is 1440p still and 240 hertz ultra wide with an 800R curve, if you're going to buy this, you're looking for a 4080, 4090 anyway. So you're not talking to me. You already know what you want. So it is what it is on this guy. So, there's nobody that's going to be door busting this at all. You know what I mean? If they came in, they know they wanted this. So there's nothing to talk about here. But let's go ahead and go to the next one here. So full HD gaming laptop, Ryzen 5 with 8 gigs of RAM, trash. 6550M, okay. 512 gigabyte SSD, trash. See, this is why. Now, we can talk about it, when we're talking about laptops, but TVs, there's no way to know what the processor is unless you get it home, right? That's why I don't like talking about TVs, but laptops, for sure, this is going to be trash for 8 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabyte SSD, unless you're getting it for like a girl or a daughter or somebody who doesn't utilize PCs much, it's okay. But if you're talking about gamers, which is what this channel is about, this is trash. Like, for example, 8 gigs of RAM is not enough. You need at least 16 for me to be comfortable with you gaming. And then 512 gigabyte SSD is just, come on now. Like, my phone has more. So I would say, if you're going to get something like this, get an SSD or more memory, and then it's okay. Then it's a true door buster. But this, the way it is trash. I wouldn't recommend it. See, even this 75-inch DU 6950, it's kind of going off brand here. That's not a real brand for Samsung, so I'm not even going to pay homage to it. Apple MacBook Air 13-inch, Apple M2 chip, good chip, a little hot. 16 gigs of RAM, 256 gig SSD. You're gonna get that with max. 256 gig SSD is trash, obviously, but of course you do have iCloud to help you with some of that storage utilization, and of course you can plug in a actual drive to it to actually increase the storage. So please bear that in mind. Most people are okay with it when it comes to Macs, but when it comes to PCs, I give no respect. If you are running a 512 gigabyte SSD and you're talking about Windows, you should be slapped. Because that can be upgraded. This can't be, so that's a little different. So, and on top of that, it's better to get it at that price point and then just add a drive to it and use iCloud. You know what I mean? So this is okay. This should be slapped. Like, unless we're talking about a girl, teenager, maybe a kid who's not into gaming, then this is okay. ROG Ally, we looked at this, doorbuster. It was $399 where I looked at it previously. This is a bad deal. If we go to Newegg, I think Newegg is the one that had the ROG Ally on sale. Yeah, ROG Ally, 512 gig, 1080p, 120 hertz, Z1 processor, same thing. So this is versus this right here. Save an extra $50 with Plus. This is a bad deal, 100%. So it's the exact same thing. 512 gig SSD and 512 gig SSD, 1080p, 120 hertz, 100% bad deal. 100% bad deal. Just go for this. Just please don't do that. So if you're looking for the ROG Ally, please don't buy it from Best Buy. Just go ahead, or if you are going to buy from Best Buy, price match it to Newegg, because Newegg has the better deal. Even though this person here gave it a bad review, it's a ROG Ally. It's a really good 120 hertz. Is it going to utilize that? Of course not. The processor is going to hold it back. I knew this when it first came out, and I already had it handheld. I had the Ioneo or Ioneo 2. And so I already knew it was going to hold it back because that guy can barely hit 60, even though, it's not that it's bad or anything. It's just asking this to do 120 with that processor is just not ideal. So that's probably why this person is kind of down on it, and it gets a little hot, but it is what it is. It's a handheld and it's a Windows PC. So, of course you're going to have to upgrade that SSD, but at the same time, it's no different than this Best Buy deal, but it's $100 cheaper. So just get it from Newegg. Please don't get it from Best Buy. All right, Danny, what's up? Alrighty, make sure I hit everybody I have so far. Alrighty, so 48-inch class B4 series. B4 is actually okay when it comes to TV, so I'm okay with saying that this is an actually good deal. B4, C4, any of those. B4 is just kind of lower quality to the C4, which is their, base. What's it called? It's their base best model, right? Because they have the M4 as well as the G4. So the C4 is kind of like the baseline model, and the B4 would be kind of like a baser baseline model. So it's not the best model, and it's kind of like fourth place. I guess that's the best way to say it, because you got your G4, you have your M4, and then you have the C4. Damn, my knowledge on these topics is stupid. Okay, Nintendo Switch has a bundle. Let's see what we got here. Alrighty, so Nintendo Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for $299 for the Nintendo Switch. Good deal. Nothing to say bad about it. Then you have the Nintendo Switch OLED model, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for $349. Now, when it comes to the Switch versus the OLED version, the only reason why you would want the OLED version if you have plans on using it portably. I don't use it portably. I have it just sitting in the dock stand 24/7, in which case I would say go for the $299. But if you're going to use it literally anywhere else, then the OLED is better. Or jailbreak it, no. Alrighty, if you're going to jailbreak, you got to go with the original model. But none of these models are going to be jailbroken because they're newer. You got to find, like used in order to, okay, I'm talking too much. I'll just leave that alone. I'll leave that topic all the way alone. Alrighty, so we'll just back out of this one. We already talked about it. We already talked about that. College football, Madden 2025, college NCAA 2025. That's, $29.99 doorbuster deals for that. If you need that, you know it. Alrighty, and let me see what else we got here. Okay, those are the doorbusters we already hit. Black Friday deals, a lot of these iPad ones we already talked about. Air M3, 256 gig, 849 for a MacBook Air. It is what it is when it comes to Apple. Of course, you're gonna have to buy some actual external storage, but most gamers aren't looking for Apple anyway. Now, if you want to game on Apple, then I would suggest just connecting it remote desktop into a gaming PC than actually trying to do it that way, because these M3 chips, they prevent you from having external GPUs. Back when it was Intel, you could actually still game on it because you can use an external GPU. Now, not so much. So please bear that in mind. But we'll skip some of these Macs because they don't really help anyone. Let's see here. Chromebooks, 8 gigs of memory. That's not a doorbuster, that's trash. 8 gigs memory, 256 gigs. Still, I wouldn't recommend it unless we're talking about like a mom or somebody who won't use a lot. Even my mom, when I would never give her 8. It's just not ideal, because as soon as they start opening multiple tabs, it's gonna have a problem and stress out. i5, good. 8 gig, bad. And let's see here. UT70, I'm not getting into that. We already talked about it. S84D, another one. Class S3, I'm not even. It's $100. Jose Juke, what's up, bro? How's it going? How's life treating you? Sonos Arc, $699 after savings. Now, Sonos Arc does go, it ranges, sometimes it's $700, sometimes it's $800, so please bear that in mind. But the fact that it's, $699 is okay. I've had problems with Sonos Arc in the past, depending on what you're hooking it up to. If you're hooking it up to a PC, and this is the reason why I'm talking about it, then, with the SPDIF cable, it's okay. Sometimes it can run into problems, so please bear that in mind. But overall, the Arc is okay. I really do like the product, and I like having the speaker really far away. So I use the Sonos Arc for like gaming. So if you want to get a lot of boom with your computer setup, then a Sonos Arc is really good because you can plug it directly into the SPDIF port and use it that way. So I am a fan of the Sonos Arc when it comes to using it as speakers for your computer. And that's the only reason why I'm talking about it. Oh, chilling, going over every product known to mankind for Black Friday, bro. And showing just how versed I am at all of these products. So streaming devices, I think Apple TV kind of took the cake unless we're talking about jailbreak. But if we're not talking about jailbreak, then I would say Apple still takes the cake. Fire Sticks are okay. I typically like Apple TVs because they're just smoother. And plus, everybody who isn't technically savvy can use them. So that's why I typically go for Apple TVs over Fire Sticks. Like I used to do Fire Sticks all the time for like family members and stuff like that, but I've moved to Apple TV because it's simpler. It's a lot easier ecosystem. Everybody understands it. Like my mom picked it up in like 30 minutes. So just bear that in mind. But $20 for Fire Sticks are okay. And generally they're gonna range in that $20 to $50 price point. So it being $21.99 for that guy is okay. Now, this one here supports Wi-Fi 6E. Please bear that in mind, but Wi-Fi 6E doesn't matter if you don't have Wi-Fi 6. So if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you. You're going to be using Wi-Fi 5 and it's going to go down to Wi-Fi 5. Wi-Fi 6 is okay. For Wi-Fi 6, the reason why you want that is because it has a lower range, but it has better connectivity. Well, it has a higher bandwidth frequency. So basically it's dual band, so you can use it for streaming for multiple devices and they all get similar speeds. So that's the reason why you want to use Wi-Fi 6 if you have it. But if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. So yeah. I'm a bad man when it comes to talking about networking connectivity. And okay, all right, I'm moving on. I'm getting off my ego box. So yeah, also pretty good deal. I'll leave it at that. All right, let's move on here. PlayStation 5 consoles, we already talked about it. PlayStation VR 2 headset, Horizon Call of the Mountain. Call of the Mountain, one of the better PlayStation games. But I know because somebody else told me that the PlayStation VR 2 is getting an update. The VR 3 headset is coming out, and a lot of people got the PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Pro, PlayStation 5 Pro because of the new VR headset. So I would not recommend even a Black Friday VR headset for PlayStation because I know the VR headset is coming out next year sometime, supposedly, because I had fans tell me. And did you find a good deal on the 4070 Super? We were talking about this just a second ago. So 4070 Super, the deal that we found was the Zotac Gaming GeForce RTX 4070 Twin Edge for $589. And we were talking about, 4070 Super is kind of that right at my cusp, anything higher than that. And then I would say wait until February, March when the new graphics cards come out. Please bear that in mind. NVIDIA's new graphics cards usually release on February or March. But yeah, 4070 Super, new bag, $589. Probably the best deal. Everything else is over $600. We just looked it up. Alrighty, and let's see where we are here. Best Buy. Alrighty, moving right on along here. ROG Ally, $699. I don't trust you anymore, so just don't go to Best Buy for the ROG Ally. Same thing, Lenovo Legion Go, $200 off, but it's the Legion Go. I do like the fact that, these it's a little bit bulkier and these things disconnect and they're really nice. So it's kind of like a Switch in that sense, but at the same time, the Lenovo Legion Go didn't really get a whole lot of push when it came out. It was so far behind the Steam Deck and the Aya Neo, ROG Ally. It just had so much competition. It was already saturated by the time it came out, so it just didn't get a whole lot of push. Astro Gaming A50s, great. $100 off, also great. Let me see here. Your live was discontinued due to inactivity to avoid staying. Okay. Give me 1 second. My live just literally stopped here. I hate that. That's really annoying. Go live. I was still doing the whole thing, man. What are you talking about? But yeah, the TikTok live just went off. But we're not done yet, so we'll continue on. It's loading. It'll be fine. Alrighty, so Astro A50s, Gen 4 wireless. I do like Astro A50s. They're a little bulky. They take a lot of space, and that's the only reason why I've been down on them over the years. And plus, I had the Arctis Steel Series 7, and I've had that for like 5 years, so I've never needed to upgrade. Those guys have been great. But for $149, $100 off is a really good deal for the A50s, especially if you're looking for a good pair of gaming headsets and you have the space on your desk for it. If you don't have the space on your desk, please don't do this. Go for anything else. The SteelSeries Arctis Gaming buds are good, or any kind of gaming buds, in-ear buds are good, but or just any other headset if you need the space. Like, this guy is really bulky. Like, it takes up a lot of space. So please bear that in mind. But $100 off for this guy, excellent. All right, let's move back here. Okay. So Apple Watches or just watches, Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultras. I'm not really going to cover them. They're not really gaming related. Beats, we already covered. Gaming chairs, I have already looked at this. Hey, SteelSeries Arctis 7, look at you. A full HD 1080p 246 hertz. This is okay, but remember, this is full HD. So even if you got a graphics card to utilize it, this won't do anything. Like that 4060 or 4070 Super, this is useless here because this is going to be CPU bound. So I would definitely not recommend this. I would definitely recommend anything in the 2K or 4K range, or 2K 240 or 2K 144, 2K 165 if we're talking about the lower price point, because you can get like a 2K 144 for like $200-300. If anybody wants to see that, just let me know. I had looked it up earlier. Alrighty, so yeah, this is trash. I wouldn't go for this, especially for people who are looking for a 4060, 4070, something like that. If you have a smaller form factor build, or you have a PC that doesn't have a graphics card, then this is okay. Okay, why did it do all that? That was a little weird. I'm so sorry. So we'll go ahead and let's see here. I think I already looked at this. Best Buy, have we looked at this? Okay, these price points. Okay, one, the 980 Pro, 2 terabyte, 119. That's the first thing I saw. That's really good. for a 980 Pro. Now, there's not much difference between the 980 and the 990 Pro when we're talking about MEMEs. So you're not really going to gain much and you're not going to notice it. That's probably the worst part, is that you're not going to notice much difference if you're just doing everyday gaming, because once you have it loaded to memory, no one cares what drive it would use. Like, it doesn't matter when we're talking about gaming. So a 980 Pro for 119 is a good deal if you want Samsung and you want that reliability, but you could find a better deal for cheaper, but it won't be as reliable as a Samsung. So please bear that in mind. Black Shark V2, wired. It is what it is. Arctis Pro wireless, great headset, extra battery pack, cool. 139, you know, Astro A50s, I'd probably go for those instead. But these are wireless too, so, you know, and they have a nice base station and they have battery packs. So, you know, just flip a coin on that one. Either way, they're right around the same price point. Tommy and Jacob, what's going on? And let's see here. Insignia PC gaming chair. I will never buy anything Insignia, including gaming chairs. It just is what it is. I know where it came from. I used to work for Best Buy. No. It's not happening. Let's see what else we have. G502s, the Heroes. We've looked at these before. They were at Newegg. They're going to be around the same price point. And yeah, it's not really, you know, giving me cheap deals or great deals. They're just normal price deals. Like the Logitech G502, like we just saw that a second ago on Newegg. And I think Newegg probably beat it. If we go back here and we go back one more, and we were looking at the Logitech G502. Logitech G502. Okay, so the Logitech G502 Hero is $39.99 here, and then Best Buy Logitech G502 Hero wired optical we're looking at the same one? Wired gaming mouse. Yeah, okay. So we're looking at the same one here, and it looks like Best Buy beats it by $5. Hey, good job, Best Buy. I had you pegged as terrible, but it appears that you actually came out swinging on this one. So yeah, if you're looking for the Logitech 502 Hero wired, then yeah, it's a little bit cheaper if you go to Best Buy. So some of the mouses are okay. I just wouldn't trust the ROG Ally. So if you're going for the ROG Ally, then don't go here. If you're going for Insignia, don't go here. If you're going for a computer chair, don't go here. Is there anything else down here? Motherboards, I would rather you go to Newegg. We talked about that extensively earlier, so I'm not gonna speak on motherboards unless you literally have no choice. We'll go one more page and call it a day on this section. Alrighty, Huntsman. I like the keyboard, very portable, but it's not a whole lot to say about the Huntsman. We saw the Huntsman earlier. It is what it is. V2, still okay. I mean, Huntsman is a Huntsman. 60%. I like the 60% Huntsman better. That's smaller, low profile. But I mean, these price points for keyboards, you know, it is what it is. If you want it, you want it. But it's clicky. It's very loud. So please bear that in mind. Especially, okay, the only reason why loud matters is if, one, you have a girlfriend, or two, you are a streamer. If you are a streamer, it'll be picked up in the actual mic. I don't care what mic it is, minus Shure, right? Shure SM7B, it probably won't be picked up, but it'll still hear it. If you have to put like a noise gate on your mic in order for you to not hear that, but please bear that in mind. The clickiness can be a problem. Or if you're at work. The Corsair TC100 leatherette gaming chair. This looks okay. It doesn't look like it's big guy friendly just because of how thin that looks. So it's not anything that you would write home about, but it may get the job done. But I've seen better deals. Like I think we had somebody in chat talk about one that you can get at Costco, which is down the line, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, it's not anything to write home about. It's okay, but you know, it is what it is. But it's from Corsair, which is a well-known brand. So, you know, take that as you will. ROG 65-watt wireless charger with HDMI and USB Type A. What do you mean HDMI? Supports HDMI 2.0 with USB Type A. Okay, whatever. I don't really care. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Nobody's looking for that. Memory, headsets. I think we're done with this. So Best Buy, let me see if we missed anything here that we might need to talk about. Network connectivity and routers. If that was here, I'd talk about that. Let's see. I don't think so when we talk about routers, because Newegg typically has good deals when it comes to networks. Let me see. Routers. Okay, let me just scroll down and see if any of them. Black Friday deals. Here we go. Alrighty, Black Friday deals on wireless routers. Might as well hit it. It's not like it's outside of my range or anything. Dual band mesh Wi-Fi router 6 for Eros. Eros are pretty good. I do like them. Their range, depending on where you are, can be kind of a problem, especially if you're going upstairs and downstairs. But you can have more than one. So there is that. So they do have a mesh topology because, I mean, obviously it says it right there. But mesh meaning that you can have them in multiple places. So you can basically create a mesh, as in one can be in a different area, another one can be in a different area, and they'll join together. So it can cover some of that dead space that you get throughout your house. So if you have bigger houses, then things like mesh topology is what you're looking for. And $60, $70 isn't bad for one. A Wi-Fi 6 wireless router with lifetime internet security, no one cares. 4-band for the actual antennas for ASUS. ASUS has always been pretty good. Now, sometimes I do run into issues with some connectivity connectivity depending on what it is, but Asus has always been pretty good, especially if you only need one router. Like if you live in an apartment, then some of these are okay. But at the same time, this price point may be a bit much. You don't really need that much if we're talking about living in an apartment. You don't really have to go for a $100 router. The only time you have to go for something that's over $100 if we're talking about a house. Nighthawk. I do like the Nighthawk and I do like the Archer. The thing about the Archer has some issues, some connectivity issues with the VR headset, the PC Meta 3. So the Meta 3 has issues with some of the Wi-Fi 6 connectivity with the TP-Link. There's been Reddits about it. It's kind of a pain in the butt because I've run into the same issue with my TP-Link because I do like the Deco, the TP-Link Deco, which is, we may come across it here, but it's a giant white cylinder with mesh topology. And I use that because it has some of the best range that you can possibly get. I love the Deco, but it has connectivity issues with the Meta 3, and it used to for a very long time. It drove me crazy for a while. So please bear that in mind. If you do have the Meta 3 and you're looking for any kind of router, just don't go TP-Link. It's just save you some time because it has been fixed over the years, but please bear that in mind. It had been a problem in the past. Nighthawk's pretty good. I don't have anything bad to say about them. Dual band wireless routers. I mean, Wi-Fi 6 for $179. I mean, I don't know if that's a doorbuster. I wouldn't call that a doorbuster. It seems a little bit unnecessary. Like, for example, most people here will be okay with like this Archer for $70. Let me take a look at the specs real quick. AX20, AX1800, dual band Wi-Fi 6, which is pretty much all you need here. If we look at the features, 1.8 gigabits per second, so 1200 megabits per second on the 5 gig bandwidth and 574 megabits per second on the 2.4. That should be enough for most people. If we're talking about like Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz bandwidth, that should be okay for most like apartment setups, things of that nature. If you're not going doing anything crazy, it should be okay. Now, if you're talking about like file transfer, like if you have, God, what is it called? Like a media server that has a bunch of things. Now, it may be a little bit different for that. Now, I would make sure that you do everything wired. If we're talking about media servers, please do not let that guy go wireless because it'll eat up your entire bandwidth if we're talking about Wi-Fi 5. So if we're talking about a media server, please make sure that guy is connected wired, and then you won't have this problem. So it won't matter. But if you make a media server go wireless, it'll eat this up. So please bear that in mind. It does have VPN connectivity. No one cares. We're not going to talk about it because that's a bit much. Easy setup. Most of them are. And so, yeah, this is okay for Wi-Fi 5. So, you know, it is what it is. It's okay. It's literally okay. There's anything to say bad about it. It's a good deal. Minus the fact that it's a TP-Link, right? And if you have a MetaQuest, it can be a problem. So Google Nest always pretty good, especially if you have a bigger house. So like if you're trying to do any type of Wi-Fi setup with a bigger home, I would say anything over 1,800 square feet, then Google Nest is okay because you can talk to it. It has all kind of little cool features and stuff like that. So if you hook it up, like for example, with the Google Wi-Fi, the home little pod things, you can talk to it and do all kind of crazy stuff. But, you know, it's okay but the price point is a bit much, especially when you can get an open box for like $178. Generally, routers open box is a good deal because there's usually nothing wrong with them. Generally, if somebody's returning a Wi-Fi router, it's because of price point or something like that, or didn't do exactly what they thought it was going to do. It was kind of painful or something, but there's usually not a good reason to return a router. So unless, you know, it's just bad, but that doesn't happen too often because routers don't really require much. So open box for routers are also a good deal. So if you can't beat open box, then I wouldn't do it. And that's the Nest. Let's see what else we got here. We'll go a little bit further. Eero's okay. I've heard about it. I haven't really looked at too much when it comes to how much bandwidth it has, but at the price point, it's pretty good. Of course, it also is mesh, so it can do quite a bit. Nighthawk B12000 dual band tri-band Wi-Fi 7 router. This guy's excellent, but at the same time, it's very, very pricey. I would recommend the Deco over this, which is, I can show you what I'm talking about because I just said Deco like 8 times. TP-Link Deco. It's just not a part of the Black Friday. But the Deco, like the BE 1600 or 16,000 quad band mesh Wi-Fi 7 system, these guys are better. Now, this is 3. I bought a 2-pack with mine. Yeah, this right here, something along those. Well, no, not that price point. It wasn't crazy like that. It was like $500 or something like that. Yeah, BE 11,000, somewhere in this area. The Decos, I'm a bit more of a fan of than I am the Nighthawks and anything in that area. So please bear that in mind. I do love the Decos. The Decos have done very well for me. I have one upstairs, I have one right here, I have one right here, and I have one in the garage. And those are really good. Now, of course, the one I have in the garage does have some connectivity problems, but that's because it's hitting a garage, right? So if you are trying to get your bandwidth to your garage and your garage has power, I would recommend Ethernet over power than I would a Wi-Fi router. So bear that in mind. So if you are trying to go to something that's like encased in metal and it does have outlets, then Ethernet over power is going to be better than anything with wireless. Alrighty, I think that's pretty good for Wi-Fi. I don't want to go too crazy and start talking straight network and like drive everybody away, but but I figured wireless router needed a shout out. Okay, cool. And that's Best Buy. I think we've covered Best Buy pretty well. So we'll just go ahead and move on to the next one.